All right, there we go, guys. All stripped down. What is going on, rock bouncing fans? Well, it is 2025. Some of these hills have been here for a very long time. It is time to make some changes. I've been wanting to do some big changes around the park for quite some time, and just haven't had the time in between races to do it. So that's what we're going to be tackling today. I'm going to tell you what hill we're getting into and a little history about it. All right, so there are 11 hills here at the park, and there's only been a few of them that have been here since the very start. Main Mountain is one of them. That was one of the first hills that I ever let one of the drivers name. That one is named by Mr. Ryan Ramsey, and that is actually on the list to change, but that's another story, another day. But some of the other hills that have been here from the very start is Rocky Roots. It's obviously changed a little bit over the years. I've added rocks to it and took some of the major giant roots out of there, but it's still Rocky Roots. And pretty much every other hill here is new or has not been here since the beginning, except for Learning Curve. Learning Curve is a hill that I built in early 2020 race season at the beginning, and I let one of the drivers, or it was one of the events that I let them name it. I was pretty sure it was the fastest time on that course that I let name it. It wasn't ran as a bounty hill because obviously it's not all that hard. But I let the fastest name, or the fastest run name the hill, which ended up being Charles, and he named it Learning Curve. So that hill has been here since 2020, and yeah, it's just time for some changes. Like I said, the hills have been around for a long time, and the drivers, the buggies, and everything has advanced. The drivers have gotten better, the buggies have gotten better, so it's time to make the hills a lot harder. So originally when I built this hill, it was pretty much how it was now, and over time when I added water hazard, I did add water to Learning Curve. So whatever hill this becomes, you can make a bet that I'm going to put water on this hill because it's already set up for it. So I'm going to throw you guys on the tripod and throw it in time lapse, and we're going to start ripping this hill apart. Cue the music. All right, there we go, guys. All stripped down. Now you guys can actually see how big some of the rocks are that I actually used. That's why the hill held together for 5 years. Some of the size of some of these rocks, like, they're huge. And all my logs are very rotted. Obviously, they've been there for a long time. So now we've got to come up with either an idea, or what I'm actually going to is when I built water hazard, I didn't have a plan, and that was the best plan. I said that in that video too, which it really is. To not have a plan is the best plan, because then it goes at random and you kind of end up with rock ledges kind of like that. I'm going to try to simulate this a little bit more to a more of an extreme. Yeah, I know the drivers are probably already cussing me out in the comments, but I want a harder hill. there's not enough super hard hills here right now. The only really hard hill that I feel is here right now is Ninja Please. So we need a really hard hill. We need another one. I can't freaking talk. But anyway, so I'm probably gonna go with the ledges just because ledges are really fun, but you'll see what I do. There's something that happened on Water Hazard a little bit that I really want to happen a lot on this new hill. So that's where we're gonna go for. All right, a little update. That's pretty much as far as I've gotten so far. Kind of, sort of fastly running out of flat rocks. I would like to do some wedges up at the top too, but I got kind of carried away with the flat rocks at the bottom, so I kind of used a majority of my flat rocks already. So yeah, not really sure what I'm gonna do once I get up. I am probably gonna make another landing how it was before. There was like a little flat spot before you went up to the next little section. So that is probably going to happen again, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be a little higher on the hill this time. Not really sure what I'm going to do after that, if I'm going to continue with ledges or if I'm going to do it something like that, or maybe I use logs again. Not really sure. I would like to do something kind of different without using a bunch of rocks because the river is really high right now. So it is kind of hard for me to search for rocks right now. But yeah, that's where we're at. Well, here's what we got so far. Not really going how I planned. I kind of wish I had some more rocks, or some more big flat rocks or something, but we're still going at it. You can't really see much because I just threw dirt on everything, but we're kind of at the second landing. Might do a third one, probably not, but yeah, that landing is definitely a lot higher than the last one. So between all of this, I couldn't believe how far down the original hill was. It was quite a ways down. It's been buried in quite a lot. I guess I didn't realize how much, but yeah, I'm gonna take a little break. Getting eaten alive by mosquitoes down here, but come back and see what I can come up with for the rest of it. I didn't really plan on using my barrier rocks. You see I kind of left them there, but as you also see, I keep taking them because guess we're kind of making the hill a little wider, so guess that'll help out a little bit. See where it ends up going. Alright guys, it is a completely new day. I did a little bit more after I cut the camera off, which was pretty much just me throwing up a bunch of the rocks from down bottom. And yeah, we're going to keep working our way up. But yeah, brand new day. It's finally sunny out, even though you can't really tell at the moment. But that's alright. We're going to get back to work and do the music. I ended up hitting loop recording instead of time lapse, but hopefully you guys still get the idea. But here's the start of the new hill. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with the top yet, but you can see the first level is actually higher than the Devil's Staircase, so that initial first little jump is quite a big jump. And then you got this, which is all obviously fresh dirt. Everything's got to settle in. Some of the rocks may get tossed out. We'll see what happens, but like I said, the whole hill's got to settle in. But quite a ways up. You can see how much higher it is. It's even higher than water hazard now at this first landing. And then there's probably going to be another landing up there before. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I kind of, as you see, I pretty much totally ran out of rocks because this is where I had the wood before. So not quite sure what I'm going to do up here quite yet. We still do have the hose up there to hook up to that to maybe try to run water down this. I kind of lost train of thought going through, and I just kind of started building the hill and not really thinking about water. But when you do a hill with water, you kind of want to have all the rocks as tight as possible because all the water will just go in between the rocks instead of down the hill. So I wasn't quite thinking that on this one, so there is a lot of big gaps in between all the rocks, which I ended up filling in with little rocks. But like I just said, on a hill that you want to run water down, you kind of want to have all the rocks as tight as possible, and that's not really the scenario here, but we're gonna see what happens. Like I said, I still got to figure out what I want to do for the top because I don't want it to just be dirt, because then it's gonna get dug out, and that's honestly just way too easy. So yeah, I got to come up with something for that. It doesn't look all that late, but I wake up at 5 in the morning, so we're gonna continue this on to another day. All right, another day playing with dirt. As you see, I brought some wood down with me today. We're gonna throw it in time lapse, cue the music, and you're gonna see what I do with it. Alright, here we have it, guys. First little section. Then it goes up to a little landing. And then the next little section. This section I have a feeling is going to throw the bouncers kind of every which way. And then today's part, I used up some of the scrap wood that I had. And I know from that being wet, when wood gets wet, obviously it starts getting slippery, and I don't know if you could really see it on the time lapse, but I gotta cut my nub a little shorter, but it is hooked back up to the barrel. So this will be a hill that has water go down it eventually. I don't know how far it'll make it down. Like I said in the other video, hang on a second, I gotta jump down. Like I said in the other video, like I said in the beginning of the video, I didn't really think of it with this hill, but it should have been a lot tighter together. But hopefully with all the sand and rain and then throwing more sand on it, that's how I work in the hills, so they eventually get like that. Like if I wanted to put water down this hill, I could probably very easily do it. It would get washed out in some spots, but because the hill's been here for quite a few years, the water already washed all the sand in between all the rocks, so it's not really going to go anywhere. With a fresh hill like this, obviously the water is going to find ways behind the rocks and all that stuff before it actually comes out on the hill, is basically what I'm trying to say. So hence why there's a little bit of concrete on water hazard, just trying to keep the water on the actual rocks. But yeah, so that's so far. I think the only thing I really want to do is maybe tidy up the top a little bit, and I do want to put some kind of barrier right here, or maybe I'll just go grab some random rocks for barriers. I kind of scavenged all my flat rocks and used all the rocks that I had close by to finish up this hill, but I can go grab some random rocks, or if I can find a stump or something like that, a branch, that's good enough length just for right here, because I know the bouncers will start going over here and then they'll start chewing at this and then they'll eat it down and then we'll have two hills colliding, and yeah, we'll just try to prevent that and try to keep them on the hill. So that's pretty much it for that. I think I was gonna just leave it at this hill and then I was gonna go rock bouncing on this hill, but I have a feeling the editing for the hill building portion of the video will go pretty quick because it's in time lapse, so that usually goes pretty quick. So we're gonna add in a little extra, something a little quick. I'm not gonna start it right now because it's starting to get late and I wake up at 5 in the morning. So, but just working on it for a little bit. But something I've kind of wanted to do is just make this a hair wider. I might actually make it wider this way, which also involves me grabbing a bunch more rocks. Or I actually got that big giant rock that I gotta get rid of. I was gonna roll it over there for a barrier, but maybe I'll roll it over here and make this wider, because that's something I kind of want to do. Kind of want to make it a little wider because they only have this little gap to go through. That rock is there holding all the barriers down, but I could always make it wider. So I think that's what we're gonna do in the next portion of this video. Another day down on the hills, and I just put a barrier in. That was really quick. I did test the water out just to make sure it was gonna work. Probably gonna have to cut my hose a little shorter. It's kind of long, but it works for now. And I do have Blue Dream down here, charged battery. So we are gonna try this hill, but real quick. I have a feeling this is gonna go super quick because pretty much all I want to do is just make this a little bit wider. Alright, here we go, guys. Made it. I don't know if I made it easier. Maybe a little bit. I didn't make you shoot the gap so much. It's a lot wider now. There is a lot of loose rocks in there, so. And the river is slowly going down. It's been really high for pretty much past like 2 or 3 weeks. So that's normally where I grab all my rocks from. But with it being so high, obviously I can't grab that many rocks. So what I'm getting at is eventually there's probably going to be some more rocks in here. But that's what we're looking at right now. Just made it pretty much just a lot wider. It's still basically the same. So we're gonna set you guys up on the tripod. That way I can actually drive. We'll give you guys kind of a unedited view of the hills and you guys can see how I do. And then towards the very end, I'll throw some clips together and we'll take a trip through the short course and up the hill in super slow-mo. All right, here we go. I can already hear you in the comments, turn the water on. Well, like I already said, the hill is brand new. The water will never make it to the bottom. So we're supposed to get some rain over the next 2 days. So hopefully that'll make all the sand go in between the rocks and eventually the water will make it to the bottom. But here we go. I'm gonna go stand up here so I can see. First run on the brand new hill. It's definitely a fun hill. It definitely throws you all over the place. And it's fun to go down. Alright, we'll give you guys a couple more views from the tripod and then we'll get you guys in closer. Well, that's the wrong hill. Oh, I love that it throws you everywhere. Woohoo! That is a fun hill. All right, real quick for the people that did ask how I'm liking my new setup with the leaning arms. I'm still kind of iffy. So far, I'm kind of liking it. I like the extra length, but I'm still playing around with my spring rates in the front shocks. The rear is pretty much set up how it used to, but the front is obviously different because it's leading arm now. But anyways, I'm still playing around with the spring rates. As you can see, it's still pretty loose, but I'm still getting used to that. But the looseness actually helps it kind of stay planted. It kind of makes sure the tire kind of falls to the ground as fast as possible when you go over jumps. You can see it in the slow-mo a lot. The suspension reacts pretty well, and you don't really want that much bounce back. You want the wheels to stay on the ground as much as possible, and that's kind of what it's doing. It's just kind of a different driving style. It's kind of really loose on the hills, as you can see, especially with hills like this that throw you everywhere. So that's my 2 cents on how my changes are going so far. But all right, here we go. We're gonna get you guys some super slow-mo shots. I'm probably gonna take a couple rips through the short course and up the hill, and we'll do it all in super slow-mo. Cue the music. Let's go rockbound. Well, that is definitely a pretty fun hill. It definitely throws you all over the place. Obviously, there's kind of a line to the right side, but I have a feeling after so many drivers going up that right side, that's going to get a lot harder, and it's going to push everybody to the left side, which is plenty doable. It's just obviously it throws you to the right side a lot more, and then this section just kind of throws you everywhere. The wood up there is really fun. It's pretty easy to jump. It's pretty much just a big jump, but once it starts getting wet and covered in probably algae and mud and sand and water, it's probably not going to be so easy. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed all the hill building and all the rock bouncing. We have plenty more remodels to go. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments, because there is quite a few more hills to give a makeover. All right, guys, thanks for all the support, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.